You already know what it is. It's me, Tri-Town Tory, coming to you with another episode on that Tory Talk podcast. And today, I got a very special guest. I'm going to let him do his own introduction.
Yo, I'm JB the G8. I'm right here out of Eastern Washington. And I have the pleasure of doing my first podcast, my first interview with Tri-Town North.
Yeah, you already know what it is, man. We holding it down to the Northwest with one of the first original rap, hip-hop podcasts out of the Tri-Cities. In the Northwest, if you represent and support podcasts in the Northwest, man, I really do see it and I do appreciate it. But I'm coming to you live today with my guest today, and we're going to get into some good shit today. So, JB, man, I got some questions to ask you right off the bat, man.
Oh, yeah.
To the everyday listener, man, I know that they enjoy hearing an origin story of where somebody, connects the dots and says, hey, this is what I'm going to do. So where's your origin story? Where does it all start with you? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it really started back like in middle school. I was always heavy into music as a little kid. My mom would tell me, hey, every time we put the music on, you would just walk up to the little stereo, which was like a big old receiver because it was back in late 80s. And so and I would just crank it up. And as soon as that receiver, the music was turned on, I would just crank it up. So, naturally, I just feel like I've always liked music. I was first introduced to rap by my cousin. I was a little kid, but my cousin was already, in high school. He was, a freshman or a sophomore when the Snoop Dogg album came out, the Doggy Style. And so he thought it was a funny joke for my birthday to give me a Gr8ne tape, a bootleg version of the Snoop Doggy Dogg cassette tape at that time, and so he thought it was funny to give it to a kid that's 7 years old and listen to it. And back then I was already ahead of the game. I already knew how to read before I was in kindergarten, and that was because I went to school in California. In preschool, they start teaching you how to read. Right. And so Cali, kind of put me on some game. And so when I was up here, I was more advanced than most of the kids.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's not like he didn't have grown conversations with me. I hung out with him, and he was a teenager, and I'm a little kid, I was 7 years old. And so he puts the cassette in, and the first thing I hear is, the intro where it's hey, boys and girls, what do you want to be when you grow up? And one kid says he want to be a fireman, and the other kid, a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever. And then little kid Snoop that's on there says, he wants to be a motherfucking hustler. And it just caught my attention. It's goddamn, who, he's cussing. And I was like, he's a little kid.
There's so much. Yeah. So much was going on with that one little skit. You're right.
Just that one little skit. And, I don't know, it just, subconsciously always kind of, stayed with me. And so then, when I got into 5th, 6th grade, you had Coolio, Dangerous Minds. You had Coolio, you had Dangerous Minds, little movie. So I grew up around all of the troublesome teenager gang shit, gang movies, Mexican gang movies, Blood In, Blood Out. I got some of those old movies from me as a little kid. So then. Yeah. That with the combination of the people I grew up around gangs and stuff, and then the music. So then you had Tupac, King of the West Side, and so I was always listening to Tupac. I would listen to the people I hung out with. We would listen to 11-5. We would listen to Loonies. A lot of AP9, a lot of the underground Bay Area shit. Messy Marv. Mac Mall, Mac Dre, just everybody. We just listen to everybody. And then we're Mr. Shadow, Lil Robs, because that's the homies, we grew up around the gang shit, so that's part of my culture too,
Real shit.
But, so I had so much access to all these kinds of songs. My cousin put me on to the West, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Hammer, Crisscross, he put me on all that shit, Mm-hmm. And then, the neighborhood put me on Lil Rob, Mr. Shadow, Capone, that kind of gang shit. And then together, you end up with gangster Ice Cube, Tupac, Eazy-E, and then you have Bone Thugs, Biggie, And so like I just grew up listening to all this fucking music. And so then I was just and I bought every damn CD. Like I did. I bought every damn CD. I didn't give a fuck what lawn I had them all. Because I then I didn't sell dope. You know, it was too little. You know? So then I didn't sell dope. So like, you know, I did what I had to do. And I had every motherfucking CD. And so then me and my boys, we like in 7th grade. It's really where I could remember this shit actually coming to life. Right. And in 7th grade, me, my homie Johnny, and the homie Miggs, we were walking home after wrestling practice. Because, like, you know, we're just cool kids. We just, you know, we lived maybe a mile from the school. So we would walk home. And I had this Discman. And that Discman, I bought this little Sony fucking speaker, like a portable damn speaker before the blueless shit. And it was a double end, so I was able to fit it in between like the backpack strap, the little hooked hanger strap or whatever, and hook the speakers to. And then I would be the fucking DJ. I put on all the dope shit. So mind you, 11-5. The Loonies, Messy Mark, Mac Dre, Tupac. And so I would pick all the songs because they were on my CDs. So then my friends would be like, "Hey, you should just have a radio station." It's like you like it's like you know all the music.
Right.
And because I was always introduced in where I came from, I was introducing everybody. Right. Because like I knew how to find the music out there.
Putting people on.
Yeah, like where I didn't really start putting people on until like. After high school, I ended up having a radio show at the Whitman College in Walla Walla, and of all things, that's where later on when I made my little concert company, Screw Up Radio. That's where it came from, because Screw Up Radio was the name of my show, and the reason why it was the name of my show is because that was about the time where like Chop and Screw came to big. Like I was already jamming that shit in middle school, like with Master P's Down South Hustlers came out, underground Master P shit. Like, you know, people just think of the No Limit, stuff, but I know Master P for his gang shit, his hustle music, his real like street shit, like the shit that got him the street cred. And so in that album, the song by Point Blank, and the song is Screwed by DJ Screw, and this is like 96, 97.
Damn.
And so, like, think about it. It's like 6 years later is when that Screw era really hit, like 2011, 2010.
When it got mainstream hot, right?
Yeah, where like they did that pass the mic thing with Pepsi or Mountain Dew or whatever. Yeah, so like...
And they were going platinum.
Yeah, damn, everybody from Houston went platinum. They dropped an album, they would go platinum.
Everyone. Mike Jones went platinum.
Yeah, and half of them had already platinum themselves. Yeah, shout out to Mike Jones. And I was big. I was big on Mike Jones, and he's actually one of the people I put my city on. I put my city on that whole fucking movement.
We need to bring Mike Jones to Tri-Cities, man.
Well, he's supposed to be coming out to Yak, so like, you know, maybe we could pull a meet and greet or like.
Shit. Because he's got like crazy classics, man. I remember I used to buy mixtapes where there was like 140 freestyles on. I don't know how they fit that many fucking freestyles, but this cat was rapping over everything, man, and it was just dope how he found his pocket, and he was ahead of his time because he really flexed his identity when rappers didn't really flex their identity like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
With Mike Jones, like the way that he flexes how rappers do it now.
And he threw his number out there.
And he threw his number out there. That
it was his real number for a while.
So he's still ahead of the times because people aren't really giving up their shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see people flexing their username on their shit. You know what I'm saying? That would be weird to see rappers dropping their usernames for everything on their raps.
That would be weird.
Because wouldn't that be kind of like them trying to update themselves with old software? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that.
Because it's not next level, but it's like how Soulja Boy was next level with the internet shit. Shout out to Soulja Boy.
Shout out.
You know what I'm saying? But let's go back to... were you a DJ when you started? Because you were picking music, you were a tastemaker?
I was always kind of like a business guy. Like, I had a vision. So, like, my vision was just to get the radio started. So, like, I would kind of, like, do some of the interview stuff. Before that radio thing, I was already freestyling. Like, I had already been freestyling for a long time. Like, well, probably like around high school. about towards the end of high school is when I started freestyling. But that's about like when I really started selling dope, really doing gang shit, and like really knowing people that people would consider dangerous, you know.
Right.
And they were my friends, like, and they kicked me along, or brought me along, like just like a little sidekick, just like a little buddy, you know.
Right.
So I learned a lot of shit from these guys, and I learned a lot of shit I didn't want to do from these guys, you know. But so like I was around that shit, and then I was selling dope, and that was around the Mike Jones era when Mike Jones started coming out, and these old guys are rapping about selling dope than smoking weed. Cause most of the gang shit was all about smoking weed. Some of it discreetly would talk about selling dope, but nothing was like down south where they're talking about moving birds and actually like really doing shit and shit that I was around and shit that I became a part of, you know. So then I was like, well, fuck, if these guys are rapping about shit like that. If these guys are rapping about stuff like that, then I need to rap about stuff like that. Or not that I need to, but I can. And I did. And so, like, you know, I was rapping about having multiple spots where I kept shit. Why? Because I really did. And so, like, it was easy to freestyle. And,
You were actually living your lyrics.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, when you do that kind of, like, writing, don't you ever worry, like, that you might write something that could be used in the future against you? Like... Is that ever a thought that...
I really don't, because like a lot of shit I already done been convicted of whatever the few things they did catch me for, they got me already. So like, you know what I mean?
So you speak in the past tense.
Yeah, because
so
I know never. Yeah, like,
yeah, because the statutes of limitations and stuff like that.
Correct.
And, you know, after a certain period of time, they could never use anything against you, and that's what the smart guys do. Is that they always speak of things that are out of bounds. Like, you can't touch this, so I'm going to dangle that in front of you, pause. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
that's what I noticed with a lot of, like, the dope hustler rappers. Like, Master P, like, when you were saying Master P, he really led an era that I thought was real special because, let me pause that real. You know, the era that Master P led through was really the independent hustler, like how Jay-Z was with Rockefeller Records. And, like, it was a real, like, 90s... Like, it's a mammoth, like, tycoon from the 90s. Like, you don't see it anymore, especially not in the hip-hop community.
Yeah,
like, that style of mogul dominance. The thing I love about Master P is that he knew that his own home state was not going to rock with him, so he had to move somewhere else to get himself hot and hustle in the Bay Area. And I think that that's interesting because he's a very relevant brand, and the Bay Area is a very relevant brand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Very respectable. So for someone to come into your territory and make it hot like that, the environment must be different. Like, I couldn't even imagine what it was like for Master P to come through the Bay. He had to have the right connections because you can't just come through to the Bay.
Yeah, no, he had to know somebody, and he knew somebody because he sold dope. You know, like, Master P a real dude. Like, he really came from the streets. So did Too Short. You know, like, they really did come from that shit. Like, me personally... I would feel that, or I would say that if any artist that really set the trend to be self-made and to really put the grind, yeah, Jay-Z did it big and he's a billionaire and he has his own level of success and, you know, he has many successes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you know, like, where did he learn it from? You know, yeah, he started around the same time they did. But who really put that shit out there? Master P and Too Short showed everybody that claims to be an independent artist how to be an independent artist.
Mm-hmm.
They took the deals because at the time, you know, there was no money in music. Right now, all these fools, not even fools, all these legends, all these greats, all these artists, like great artists from... And I say great as in, like, a level of respect and magnitude, not great because, like, good music. Like, They're just dominant and powerful with what they did. So, like, you know, like, you had that LimeWire scam. Mm-hmm. The LimeWire is really what fucked up the music game, but it's what made the music game today. Mm-hmm. Now you get paid for streams. Before, if someone didn't hit that buy button, you didn't get shit.
You're right. That was a pivotal moment.
It was. And who was it? Gr8ne Metallica was one of the main guys that had a problem with it. And then everybody else that had a problem with it and understood the publishing side That's where all that shit changed. So that's why you have Bone Thugs. Yeah, they missed all these records and stuff. They didn't have as much money. Why? Because they weren't getting played for the radio streams. It was some kind of calculated average.
Dude, how brilliant was that pivot where they actually made a negotiation so that they could get illegal pirating out of the fucking way? Like, they had to come up with a whole streaming infrastructure for there to be a certain amount of money that's taxed for a stream in these huge libraries that are able to be maintained because of licenses between labels. Like, the whole idea was brilliant, and they created it in front of our eyes in real time.
Yeah, no, definitely they did.
How mind-blowing is that shit? Like, the whole fucking music industry was monetized and digitized to the point of where 1 million records in the past is now 1 million fucking records digitally, and it's not the same thing, but it's looked at like it's supposed to be the same thing.
Yeah.
It's weird how they're trying to create the optics that the industry is still as rewarding as it was in the past.
Right.
And, for an artist. And it's not. Like, look at the Grammys. The Grammys get thrown underneath the bus like nobody gives a fuck about that shit. Nobody watches that shit.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why nobody watches that shit. Because everyone knows it's rigged. Everybody knows if you're not appealing to white people, then you're not going to get selected. There's a lot of great black artists, actresses and films that don't even get considered. But they did most of any of the films that were on any roster or any card to be voted on, you know, like, oh, well, this is gets the Oscar for this one because it's the best of the worst is what I look at it.
Right.
And so, yeah, no one takes that shit serious.
And it was going to happen because the way, what I love about the younger generations is that they take themselves more serious. So they don't really necessarily need to play into what's the mainstream. They really stick to their own shit. So for the most part, the only things that really get relevancy are things that are really good for the most part. Yeah. Like when a rapper that raps his ass off goes to the top, it took a lot, but you know that's top quality product.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And the same can be said for any genre that has some sort of value to it. You know, like realistically, people can be like, well, you know, I like this gamer chick because she comes out and she smokes weed with us and she games. If you spend $5 a month to that and she's got $1 million off of subscriptions a month, that's valid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's its own system. So we're living in a different time because when I was coming up, there was the music industry, and it was a fucking Olympic triathlon where if you wanted to be successful at the top of the fucking mountain, it was a really longevity game you had to play, and you had to drop albums, and you had to hit fucking album sales. And there was a lot that came with being like an elite rapper back in the day. Right. But then you seen the internet come through, and then the people were picking who deserved to be in these places.
Yeah.
And when that happened, you started to see like the labels really lose power and lose grip of what was hot and what was coming next. And the underground really saying, this is viral. This is next. This is viral. Chief Keef came out of that.
Definitely.
Like, once artists like these young kids who were teenagers like 10 years ago, when they started coming out.
Lil Bibby.
And these are really historic artists because they came out when the internet was becoming a thing, and the internet is such a fucking huge part of our life that it's really historic in the long scheme of things.
Definitely.
Because things will become less and less what you do physically in your own town and city where you're at, and more what you can do exponentially online.
Yeah.
Because if you can be a huge person 1,000 times the size of who you are realistically in your hometown, why wouldn't you devote more and more time to who you could create online?
Right, yeah. And then you can just amplify because you have more access of reaching people. Because you have more platforms, different ways of getting people's attention. You know, like you mentioned the pay subscriptions for gaming. You know, so you reach people that way. If you got your own SoundCloud, you reach people that way. And you can send messages or whatever, you know, or posting. You can put posters and send notifications.
You do a game.
And then you do it on YouTube. Then you have your own followers on YouTube, so you have so many ways you can access people and just hit each little market and keep building it up.
You know what I always heard? That if you wanted to be rich and famous, well, just rich, not famous necessarily, but you have to have 7 streams of income that maintain your life or maintain your worth or what have we. Yeah. But what I think is interesting about that is the way that these companies all have profitable fan bases for you to project your music against, and they all send you checks. you have the potential to get upwards of 30 fucking checks from labels, companies, corporations that are out there. That's more than 7 fucking streams of income. Right. So your job is to really create product that really demands such an attention span from rap fans, where YouTube is sending you mad checks, like where you could buy a used car every month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From YouTube. Like that's what we're looking for, because I know that Apple really just changed something up in the game where they're gonna start paying a penny per stream.
Damn.
And that's crazy, because if you start to do the math on that, 20K streams equals what?
What, $2,000?
That's right. Now we're talking money. You know what I'm saying? Because before, when
20,000 streams don't hard to get either, because like I know a lot of local artists that hit that, if not like 180, a few 300 or 400.
That's why I hope this goes through, because I read this article and I was like, this is gonna change the game.
Fuck yeah, because then I'd want to push my music on there.
Honestly, people would stop doing whatever they're doing and they start making music. They would. Because honestly, those kind of prices you can pay rent off of. If your goal is to hit 20K in a month so you can pay your fucking rent, you're going to hit 20K
in a month.
You're going to find a way. Especially if you're any good. If you're any good, you're going to find that and then some.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, I can see it. Then every month.
There's artists that are playing that game right now, but it's not as sophisticated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not enforced. That's what I call sophistication, when something is enforced upon you.
Enforced, like it becomes like a habit, a law.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a requirement. It has to go this way.
It has to go that way. So artists like us are really on the forefront of what's coming, as far as like trends and how the industry wants to take us and how we got to take them. And I think that it's really interesting how the artist is a brand, and that brand can be bought or licensed by Taco Bell, Pepsi, any of these fucking companies. Look at Travis Scott when he came through with the McDonald's meal. Yeah. You can't tell me that wasn't a bag. That was a bag.
Yeah, he's making money, but I'll be honest, I ain't buy none of that shit. I ain't buy Travis Scott's fucking...
Right. Because we'd be a consumer in that aspect.
Well, but I didn't do it out of that. It's just like, for me, it never caught my interest. Like, even with Migos did their own McDonald's thing, and then they hopped over to Wendy's.
But how about the execution of the brand?
I'll give the execution of the brand, and I'll give credit to them paying the dudes. Like, more credit to paying the dudes, because that's dope. You know, like, to make money and then, like, say, hey, I got my own Happy Meal, that's pretty dope. You know, like, but me personally, I'm not a gimmicky person, so I couldn't fall into it.
Right. But just on an entrepreneurial aspect, because I know that's what you are, too. You're a very entrepreneurial soul. You put money on your own ideas and make a return, sometimes tenfold. You know, you'll make so much more money back than you invest sometimes, because sometimes these W's weigh a lot.
Yeah.
Because we really fucking take it home sometimes. So when I look at it in that aspect, don't you have your own personal, like, business profile, like, kind of mindset, where you can separate a lot of the personal ways that you feel about, like, your individual life towards things? There's that. But then there's the business profile, where you can totally, like, separate from who you are, and you can just like attack thoughts of business in an I don't want to say like no emotion, but like where you are not broken either way.
Like where it's business over matter.
It's business only over
Business over matter.
Business over matter. Nothing matters because it's business over everything.
Yeah,
right?
So that's kind of like where I changed my name, or I didn't change my name, but I added that's when I added meaning to my initials, because I started going by JB after I was done with college, and so that's when I added meaning to my initials, just business, because at the end of the day, like, after going through college, after growing up selling dope, you know, like, I was selling dope 14 years old, and selling dope to people that are 40, 50 years old, bikers, Hell's Angels, fucking trailer trash people, like, literally living in a trailer park, smoking fucking crank off of fucking foils.
Okay, can you tell us how did you get into that, like, where you had to do that?
Oh, how did I get into
that? Where does that start? Like
for reals, it's I was always trying to make money. Mm-hmm. So, like, me, I was always like a hustler. Like I was always trying to make money. Why? Because I grew up from nothing. I grew up, you know, living off of food stamps. Christmas dinner came from the food bank. Yeah, we got turkey and stuff like that. Not every Christmas dinner was a bad dinner. Not every Thanksgiving was a bad Thanksgiving because we ate and, we had turkeys and stuff like that or tamales or whatever, So it was not always terrible. But, but not having Christmas presents sucks. And then, so you don't have Christmas presents and you go to school as kids, third grade, fourth grade, all the way up to like seventh grade. Everybody be asking you, first thing they ask you, what'd you get for Christmas? All right. Well, I was like, a few of my Christmases were good, but then like my parents are in and out of each, fighting because my dad, he ended up he was like an alcoholic. And so that kind of like ruined my parents' relationship. My mom tried to help him. One time she wanted to help him because she obviously doesn't do nothing for him. And then she bought him a beer and poured some dish soap in it and gave it to him. And so he took a fucking drink of this tall boy. It was like a Budweiser. He took a drink of this tall boy and he like that, and then spits it out, and little foams and shit coming out because there's dish soap in it. Because my mom wanted to make it a bad experience for him, so he would fucking quit drinking, and so like shortly, probably a year or two after that, it became official. They separated, and I was in sixth grade when that happened. So then when I was 12, my dad died, and he died on the 4th of July.
Rest in peace.
Thank you. Rest in peace. And he died on the 4th of July. And so, like, I was devastated. It was hard for me to deal with. And I was, like, 12. By then, my mom had already been dating somebody. He ended up being my stepdad. And when that happened, like, I went from, like, trying to rake yards to make money, shovel snow in the wintertime. And I would just grab whatever tools we had at home. Or we didn't have a lawnmower. We had a little push one. So I'd borrow my friend's lawnmower. I asked his dad, and his dad would even tell me, hey, like, my son doesn't do shit. So, yeah, go ahead. As long as I brought it back with gas, he didn't care that I used it to mow lawns and I was making money. And so, in 12th grade, like, I was dealing with that shit. Or 12th grade, when I was 12, I was dealing with that shit. And so, then I started smoking weed. And then when I started smoking weed, I ended up meeting this guy. And I was getting fired. And nobody else could. Everybody had red bud. Or no, red bud didn't even exist at the time. They had brickweed or it was fire. And most of the time, people couldn't get chronic. They would just call it chronic. And so I met that guy. And so I would buy sacks. I'd be like, hey, we need to get some weed, my homies, right? We want to buy some weed. We're going to go to the football game and all this shit. And it'll be cool if we're high. And I'm like, all right, well, I know I can get some good shit. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, we could get skunk, white widow, blueberry. I like real fucking weed. And so, like, they didn't really believe me. So then I ended up taking them over to that guy's house. And he smoked us out. And literally, there were one-hitter quitters. One little bowl, I shit you not, maybe a 0.2. Like, a little personal bowl. Like, when you should be able to take it one hit. Well, yeah, we're amateurs, so yeah, it took a couple hits. But it was mainly for one. It slumped us. Weed just slumped us. And so like, they knew I got good shit. So from there, it went on into school. So they knew that I can get them fired. And so I would go, and I would just mark it up like $10, $20 if they got a quarter, like depending on how much I was getting, And so then that guy asked me to come over one time. And he's like, hey, come over real quick. And he also did construction work. So then he had me do the construction work with them. I had to sand down some window seals. And then he gave me 2 ounces of fucking commercial weed. And so from there, I started selling it. And so I just started selling weed. By the time I was 14, no, I wasn't 14. By the time I was 13 years old, I was selling like maybe 2 to 4 ounces of weed.
Damn.
Just fucking selling bud. Quarters, eighths.
A week or what?
A week.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
While I was a little kid, like I was between 12 and 13.
Handling the money and everything?
Yeah, I did everything by myself. Like, I never had nobody, like I did everything by myself. And that really happened because my stepdad ended up going to jail.
Was it hard to do business with, like, I would imagine, grown men? Because you'd have to buy, the whole process and everything. You'd have to deal with people who were way older than you.
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody was, especially when I got into the second phase of selling drugs. Because weed's not really a drug, but it's technically at the time it was.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of but I never thought about it because I sold weed to these guys. And I was doing that, and I was making my own money. My homie ended up going to the institution. He got out. By the time he got out, I was already selling hard stuff. So what ended up happening from selling weed, and I'd buy my weed from older people, but I was already known because of that guy. The guy that brought me in, he was my friend's dad's coworker. And so I did that work for him, and he gave me weed for the work. He trusted me from that point on. And so it was easy to buy some. And then everyone I sold to was my age, maybe 2-3 years older than me. And then I would go home. Every morning I wake up, I'd take a quarter pound, I'd break it down. Probably not all of it, a couple ounces, depending on how much I thought I was going to sell. But, and I'd break it down to 20s and 8s. And so one time I had finished selling my 20s and 8s. And I pulled up to the park, and I was sitting on the bench, and I was rolling a joint. And then I just hear boom, boom. This loud ass car stereo system just knocking, just like. And then I look and turn around, and it's a fucking 83 Coupe de Ville, silver, Raider silver, black rag top, fucking the little chrome baby Dayton's, sick as fuck, super clean on hydro. Just bouncing some shit you would see in a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that guy was one of the guys I would buy weed from, but he had quit selling weed, and he was really skinny, and he was pretty heavy set most of the time I've ever known him, because I've known him since I was a little kid. And so that guy, my homie that was with me, I was going to smoke with. I was like, man, how the fuck? His name is Polar Bear, and so I was like, how the fuck Polar Bear get that? He only sells weed. I sell hella weed. I was like, and I can't buy that. I was like, what the fuck? And so at that time, I would take my weed money, and I was always an investor. So it was the business mindset. I was an investor. So if some of my homies that would go steal fucking car stereos and shit like that, and I'd buy them, and I had a friend that I would sell my car stereos to. And flip them. I'd double my money every fucking time. Give them $50, and then I sell it for 100, 150, depending on the brand. And so my homie knew that I had that person I was selling the car stereos to. And so then I was like, man, that fool's fucking, that's a sick ass car. And then the guy that was with me tells me, hey, well, your friend, the friend that you always talk to, well, if you talk to her, why don't you ask her to put you on? And I was like, what do you mean? And then he says, well, why do you think he has that? He's he's flipping crank is what he told me, straight up, nobody does none of this shit no more. So I'm not worried about saying any of this stuff. Yeah, he owns a construction business right now, so he don't do nothing.
Dead ass.
And so, but anyways, that guy, he told me, oh yeah, he sells crank. Hit up your person, she'll help you. So I ended up getting a hold of another car stereo system, but this time the plan was different. This time I told my homie, look, I better switch what I'm doing. I was like, I want to fucking Coupe de Ville. I want to fucking candy paint that bitch. He cut that thing was all custom, everything. It had 6, or was it 6? Yeah, it had 6 JBL 12s in the back, or JL Audio 12s in the back. 6 of them, plus the hydraulic system, plus the Eclipse amps, all this shit.
That shit probably knocked like a mother.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a trap marching band in it. For real, he just rapped. I'm telling you, I heard this thing. Just remember, I was telling you, I was sitting on the bench.
Fucking trap marching band.
Yeah, a trap marching band.
That's gonna be the name of this episode, man. Trap marching band. I love that.
Yeah, and that for real, that's what it sounded like. It's so and it was a badass car, and so anyway, I ended up telling him, look, I don't pay nobody to fucking buy me. I don't want to pay nobody for a stereo this time. I was like, let's go get it ourselves this time. And so like me and my boy, his name was Shane. He was a crazy white boy. Always had my back though. Always had my back. And so this crazy white boy, like he would always hang out with him. He was my partner in crime. If I asked him to do something with me, he would do it. And they looked up to me, and they were older than me. It was crazy too. Him and his peers looked up to me. And it's because I was always known for selling dope, and I always had a job. Like I wasn't stupid. I always had a job too. And so I had 2 incomes or 3 incomes depending on how many products I was selling. You know, and so like at that time, like I was still in school, so I worked part-time at a popcorn shop. The guy paid me $15 an hour to fucking pop popcorn and mix flavors. Yeah, like 15. I would get like 15 hours on the weekend as a kid. And it got, mind you, minimum wage then was like $4. You know?
You were getting bread.
Yeah, I was getting bread. Yeah, I was buying Mecca clothes, Pure Player clothes, Rockaware. Like, I was the only one.
Have you always, has money always came to you just like effortlessly in a sense?
I would say yes. Because, like, even though I grew up poor, on welfare, food stamps, the whole shebang, my mom's an immigrant, all that bullshit, you know, like, every obstacle in my life, but money's always been easy to get. But the only time I've never had money, or the only time I didn't have money physically in my hand is because, 1, I didn't go out and get it and chose not to, or 2, I was in prison. Those are the only times I never had money in my hand. Other than that, I've always had money.
When you say you chose not to, is that when you were a kid, maybe?
When I was a kid, or like there were times where like I just like be like, all right, I've had enough of fucking society, and so I turn off my phone and I just go fish for like 2 days. And
but you don't hit zero in your bank account.
Like, never. Yeah, I've never lost money. Like I never did it. Not having money reserved.
Right. So you've never been.
I would take breaks.
You've never been broke in the sense since you've had the ability to get your own fortune.
Correct.
Like ever since you realize that, hey, I can go out there and get as much money per hour that I can get right now at my age, and you took those steps and you got that bread. So ever since that point, you've never been so down bad where motherfuckers had to feed you and
yeah,
you know
never. Like no, it's always been different. It's always been the other way around. Like everybody around me was like 2 to like 4 years older than me, and I was the one buying. I was the one fucking giving them my clothes that don't fit because then or clothes I didn't want.
You're like little big bro kind of.
Yeah, I was little big bro. You know, I was the one that had the car, the license, the truck with the stereo system, and all that shit.
Isn't that crazy when you can make shit happen for so many people just because you have it like that?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's wild. Like, motherfuckers will try to be snakes and take advantage of the opportunities to be around cats like you. But just being a cat like you where you have the ability to be a couple steps ahead of everybody so that you can have things available for people to use.
Yeah.
Because, like, from what it sounds like to me is that you've been the cat that's always been a couple steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah, I would agree. I've never seen it that way. You know, reflecting on the on the events and how everything kind of panned out. Yeah, I was always kind of like ahead of everybody, because like everybody else would kind of just do the same shit, and like me, like after a while, like I might play games with you for a little bit, or even like now like video games, like I might be lucky to play video games for 15 minutes. Dead ass, like. Even the games I love, even you know, like
there's just no time for it.
Well, there's no time for it, and I feel guilt. I feel guilt because like I'm enjoying. I like where I can put those 15 minutes in is I respect all the dedication that was and the artistic work that it took to create that. And I get to enjoy it. And I get to enjoy the probably the feeling that those people had when they put this whole project together, like a Grand Theft Auto game.
So when you do bring your 15 minutes, you really give it your all because you love the games.
Right. I love the games. I was always a gamer. I sold fucking drugs my whole life. And I had a job. So, like, I literally, like, when I was really big into it, it was the PlayStation 2 era. And you know what? I have, like, 130 games. Name one game I don't have.
Dead ass?
Dead ass. And I still have them in my storage.
That's all artifacts. That'll be worth something huge in the future if you keep and maintain all that.
Yeah, I have some of the games that have the first USB plugs that so you can shoot the screen.
In the current climate of like the way that shit resells on the internet, in the future, do you think it's a stretch of the imagination to believe that PS2 could possibly be sold for $40,000 in the future?
I don't think it's a stretch. I think it's very possible if you have something like I have.
Yeah.
I have like the whole PlayStation 2 era collection.
So you could sell a whole nostalgic capsule to somebody.
Yeah.
And they would literally have all the games that you collected over the years and the console. And it would work perfectly fine for them.
Correct.
That right there is an environment you are selling to somebody. You're selling a whole you're selling more than just a physical item.
Shit, the memory cards too, they're all along there.
Because you're creating a nostalgic bubble for somebody to purchase. And the cost for that is in the upper couple $100,000, maybe even.
Then the time to find all that stuff. Because a lot of them games, I guarantee you, there's at least 60 games you've never heard of.
Let's say that just like Vietnam vets, I mean, shout out to the Vietnam vets, I'm not disrespecting, but every day there's less of them. That's how the consoles are going to disappear off the earth. So the more consoles that there are in the future, the higher value they'll have. So if you look at it like that, and that was a horrible analogy, I fucking regret making it. But when you look at it like that, everything has a value to it that's only going to increase because in the future, let's say that nothing is replicated in mass like how it was in the past, right? So if that's the case, then we're looking at a whole era that's going to be treated like the Nintendo 64.
Oh, yeah.
You feel me?
I feel like GoldenEye, my favorite. Like, that's GoldenEye and WCW, NWO. Those are my two new Nintendo 64 games.
Deadass.
You see, and during those times, I would fucking game hard. You know, like, I would have a job at a restaurant, so sometimes I didn't have to be at work until like 11.
Ooh, the Nintendo 64, brother. Let's talk about that. The Nintendo 64. What were the games you played on that shit?
The 007, GoldenEye.
Classic.
That was my favorite one. I was always odd jobs. This little short guy because he was hard to shoot that fool. You know? It's like that was always him. I'd run right next to you, couldn't hit me. And then the WCW NWO. That was my other favorite one. That one
hard.
Man, I had played a lot of wrestling games because I had a Sega Genesis, a Super Nintendo, and those are all things I hustle myself. I think the Sega Genesis, my dad actually bought me my first game.
Did that?
Yeah, he bought me that first one. The other ones I hustled and got them myself, you know. But I was always into wrestling, like WWE. What was it, WWF at the time? I was always big into it.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Well, it depends. When I was a little kid, it was the Ultimate Warrior because of his fucking energy. He was buff, you know. He's fucking.
Is he an underrated legend?
He's an underrated legend. He slept on.
Why doesn't he get the credit that he?
Why?
Who kind of dimmed his shine?
I would say the Hulk Hogan kind of took everything, and then it's because like he was the most popular, you know, like it. And they try to treat the Ultimate Warrior like Scottie Pippen, you know. You know, but
that's
like,
a hard ass take. I like that.
You know, but like the Ultimate Warrior faded out because he had his own issues and didn't stay relevant and keep wrestling as consistent as Hulk Hogan did. Hulk Hogan just went WWF, WCW, whatever, you know. But yeah, he was my favorite, and then after he kind of faded out. Then it was Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon was my the next guy when the Ultimate Warrior was out of the picture. So then I grew on to Razor Ramon, and then when Razor Ramon dipped, and I wasn't really into the WCW because it was really like you can tell the difference between the two. One was super high quality, the other one wasn't. And then WWF is what it started with, right? Yeah. So I ran with it. But then Stone Cold Steve Austin came into the picture, and then he's been my last favorite, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So you weren't a Rock fan.
No, I didn't like The Rock. Like
you didn't buy into it.
Yeah, I didn't buy into it. Like I like some of his little sayings, you know, his energy and his performance. But
the rock bottom didn't do it for you.
No, the stunner did, and you know, just how like Texas.
It was more iconic.
Yeah, it was more iconic. Yeah, it was more the iconic, definitely.
How about those moments where he stunned Cole? Like he stunned like like the daughter of Vince McMahon. Like,
yeah, that shit was always just like, oh my god, you know.
He
like,
has a bunch of those moments where he's stone cold stunning somebody.
Shit, he even stone cold stunned Donald Trump.
Yeah, the fucking president.
Yeah,
That's legendary.
Yeah.
There's nothing higher than that. I mean,
yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
And then like everybody's on boss. Vince McMahon, he's giving him the stunner. Like everybody ate shit off the stunner. You
Dude,
know?
he was so fucking perfect the way he would smash the beer cans together and drink the beer on the fucking Like his character was so natural, so organic. Yeah, it was so believable. Like, you didn't question for 1 minute that this guy was an entertainer. Like, the guy literally was...
just like himself.
He was himself. And it just was amazing how it came off on camera, where you just believed everything the minute that it started. Because he was just so authentic. I mean, besides The Undertaker and maybe a couple other, like, wrestlers who really tapped into that shit. Yeah, there's definitely a top 3 or 4, top 3, 4, or 5 that I can think of. Even with, like the Hardy Boys, even. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, yeah. The Hardy Boys, they were the shit, you know? Like, I like some of them wrestlers, but, like, I was there for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That was the guy, man.
Yeah, hey, you know what? And I'm proud that I went that route because, you know, like, there was times, you know, we had this whole little this little era of our last president that really promoted dividing our nation. You know, really divided all of us, and really made us challenge each other's feelings and values and morals. Well, we at first, you know, it was whatever your own business was. You know, so like. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin, he actually was like, hey, that's just wrong. You know, like, I didn't expect that from him. He's a white man from Texas, shaved head, all that stuff. I can see
you being on his podcast.
Yeah?
He has a podcast. Do you know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I've only seen it a couple of times.
I think he's Texas-based.
He's from Austin.
Right? I could see you, because of the Texas culture, I could see you coming through on a tour and doing a podcast with him at his studio. You know what I'm saying? Because what you just told me about Stone Cold, I think that he would be really entertained by that.
You think so? That would be pretty dope.
He reminds me of like a DMX kind of character.
I would agree.
You know what I'm saying? Where if you ever got a chance to chop it down about how you love them as a cultural icon... Like, they appreciate it, they listen to it because it took a lot to get there. Yeah. And those guys can really actually show you that they appreciate what you're saying as a fan. You know? DMX is definitely somebody who, if I told her, like, hey, man, I heard your first... my sister was over here. Like, whatever the fucking story was, right? Yeah. He would be like, oh, shawty, like, I heard everything you said. You know, I appreciate that. Like, that's the kind of shit that you imagine you'd want from a superstar. Like, there's nothing higher than that. Right? Yeah. So those guys achieved the highest of the high as far as being that kind of artist.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope to actually be able to meet Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I've had the pleasure to meet a lot of people that I've always wanted to meet. I've met Gr8ne. I've met he was like one of the first people that I met, but as a famous person, I met Gr8ne. I met Chingo Bling, but now he's a reject. He's no longer accepted in the Mexican community.
Whoa, break that down. I want to hear that.
Well, I was huge on Chingo Bling. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he really rapped about what we were all about. Moving weight, even though he had his own metaphors. Moving weight, just like crossing the border. You know,
he kept the gritty. He kept the gritty.
He kept the gritty, you know, and then he looked funny. And I remember the first time I seen this fool, it was in Portland, Oregon. And we almost got jumped while we were over there in Portland, Oregon. You know, and there was a Bocos Pero Locos show when they first started doing tours. Yeah. Yeah, it was a Bocos Pero Locos show. And we pulled up there. It was me, the homie Trooper, the homie Daffy. Who else?
Trooper from.
Well, they're all from Walla Walla.
Oh, so it wasn't from Pascal. Okay,
no.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Trooper, Who else? Little Blackie. Also and Little also. And they had moved out to Vancouver, so they lived on the other side of the bridge. So we hit them up and told them we were going to go to the Pocosville local show because I had, like I said, I always sold dope and I always had a job. And so when I was working at this restaurant, Trooper worked with me. And so like we always listen to Pocosville locals because we always worked there on Sundays. And I had a radio there, and they let me do whatever I want, listen to whatever music I wanted to. So all my music collection, new albums, I listen to my work. I'll stop at Hot Poop, buy a CD, throw it in the
Shout out to Michael.
Shout out to Michael, yeah, him and his pops.
Real
Hot
shit.
Poop.
It's the homie. Put me on a couple big shows out there. Umala.
Hell yeah. And but yeah, we were out there. I would do that, and damn, I lost my train of thought. Where was
my
that?
bad, G.
Well, that and we're smoking is not a kill, but
Zaza.
let's see. We're talking about how did I walk into that? The music. Shit.
Uh,
I'll remember in a second. We're talking about
so Stewie. The Stewie Bros.
Yeah.
What can we talk about the Stewie Bros, man?
The Stewie Bros. They're I would say Bay legends myself. Everybody respects these guys.
That ass.
And then they actually been the backbone behind some of the biggest songs out there.
Hell yeah.
I don't remember exactly that Ariana or Ari song. I don't know. She did a few songs with Bash, but there's a song that she does with a lot of singing.
That ass.
And Stewie Bro, which is my distribution manager for Empire, well, it's Stewie Illuminati, and then our platform's off of Empire's platform. And he's actually a songwriter and a rapper, and he wrote the singing, he wrote the hook, he wrote the verse. It mind you, like I would have to hit him up and ask him what song it is, but it's a real famous song. Like it's her and Bash, and it's her song, but yeah, he wrote most of that, and it's crazy because like, you know, like you kind of don't want, you believe him but you don't believe him, right? But then he tells you, hey, originally that beat was a different beat. And then he shows me the beat that it was originally on. And then that happened with me and Baby Bash and Stewie Bro and Marty were on tour, because Stewie Bro is also Baby Bash's road manager. And so while we were doing that tour, me, Stewie Bro, and Marty hung out a lot, and Rashid from Dope House was with us. And so we hung out a lot through, it was like a week thing. And yeah, we had conversations and stuff. And he would just kind of like tell me his background, you know. And he says, hey, you know, like this is the beat to that. He's like, now listen to this. He's like, because what happened, we wrote the song, but we were trying to get I think it was like Timberland or somebody like some big ass producers that did that beat.
Real shit.
It was him and Scott Sarge. Or it was the Timberland or Scott Scarlett or K-Swiss, somebody of those magnitude.
K-Swiss?
Yeah, K-Swiss, or what is his name? Swiss Beats?
K-Swiss is
K-Swiss. No, the Swiss Beats.
Swiss Beats.
Swiss Beats. It was somebody of that magnitude, you know,
bang, bang.
That was making that the beat for it, and they couldn't get the sign-offs. Or Bow Wow or some shit like that. It was somewhere up in that level at that time.
Right.
And so
somebody on a major,
and they couldn't get them to sign off on the beat. And so by the time they did find out and get an update of when they could sign off on the beat was already sold to somebody else, and I think it was Bow Wow or some shit like that. Like,
damn.
Yeah, it was already sold and they had it. And so then
Bow Wow's coming through.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm telling you, like Stewie Bro, it was all in that mix. Like he was really in the making of the industry. Like, a lot of people don't really know, like, his parts that he's played. You know, I'm not saying he did all the moves for everybody because, you know, he didn't. But, like, he had his own moves that he was doing for people that actually probably still pay him today, you know?
Right. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Stewie Gr8.
Real shit.
You know? And so, he tells me, look, now listen to the song. I hear the song is the exact same tempo. And so what they did is they took the lyrics and they pretty much the acapella version of the song that was already recorded over that beat and send it to a producer and told him, hey, make us a beat that fits this fucking song. And so I would have to find the song. I know I can find it on YouTube, but then you listen to it, or I listened to it, and I was like, holy shit. Because he played the beat off of his phone and he played the damn fucking song. I played the song on my phone. And it matched up. Like, you can hear it. And I was like, holy shit. And so then he tells me, this is how major this guy is. And his squad, everybody fucks with. You know, like, yeah, Stewie Bro. He knew who was going to blow up. Stewie Bro had a chance to have his own deal and get pushed by the industry.
Yeah.
But, like, he didn't because he didn't want to break away from the circle that he was in. And so then when he did that, he pretty much turned down the deal, right? To get promoted and to get pushed. And so what the story is, and how I know it, is that this major industry deal, it was like in Detroit or New York or something like that. And there was a table where everybody that's current and that's in the works are getting pushed and pushed in their own areas, you know, getting planted, you know, like Atlanta, New York, Miami, you know, Georgia. Like, who's gonna take what? Who's gonna have the Georgia presence? Who's gonna have the Gr8ne presence? And then they had the other table where, like, everybody that's tryouts, like the scouted artists, like, these people have potential and this stuff. So it was like the big kids eating dinner with the grown-ups, and it was like the kids sitting at the back table. So one of those kids that were sitting at the back table got picked to go sit with the grown-ups, right? Where Stewie Bro's at, because he said, no, thank you, I'm done. I'm full, right? So he says, I'm full. And so then the other kid that comes and sits at the table, you will not guess who the fuck it is. I wish I remember one of his songs, but you know what? Motherfucking B.O.B. is who that kid was. Dead ass.
Word? Damn.
It was B.O.B. And since they turned him down, guess who got pushed next?
Who was next?
B.O.B. That's when B.O.B. came out. After that meeting, bro.
Real?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, and that's how like how tight the industry was, how much control they had, because they could sit with 16 artists and they're gonna pick who's gonna fucking be the next guy. Damn. And that's how B.O.B. blew up.
That's how the game works, though, right?
Yeah, on the industry level, but now we have so many tools.
Facts.
You know,
that changes things up big time.
Yeah, and then most of the deals now, like, they let you keep your masters because most people don't sign it if you can't. Look at DMX.
Everybody got their masters now, huh? A lot of artists.
Just about everybody.
Because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Because if you come from the mud, you have your masters when you get in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like me, I own all my songs. Why? I paid for every fucking beat. I paid for every fucking feature.
Deadass.
I paid for two steps. I have 2 steps in my engineering process. You know.
Nobody could sue you.
Nobody could sue me. And I have so much backbone because I have so many people involved in making one damn song. You know, so like.
But it's all paid off.
It's all paid off.
That's hard. See, that's what a successful artist does. He makes music where he spends money on, but also it's all paid off. There's no debt nowhere.
Yeah, that's like I own it.
That's when you own it.
Yeah, like my features. The only features I have that have a point spread on is my feature with Little Flip, and that's it. Like all my other ones, I own them outright. Like Little Flip put me on the business outside of music, and I was just promoting at the time doing shows. So like Lil Flip put me on the music business, and that's where I learned the contract. That's how I learned how to write artist contracts. And that's kind of like when I was like doing music, you know, trying to do like a roster management service, you know, so then I can have my own little openers and shit, and then try to make money off of them. So I was always just trying to make money.
How do you feel about Flip? Is he top 5?
In my favorites, look, bro, I know you can't see that. Watch, I'll show you something that was inspired by Little Flip. You see that fucking Clover and the Leprechaun?
Oh shit, nigga.
He's part of the reason why I have that, because like the Leprechaun was greedy. He always wanted his fucking gold.
Right, facts.
And so like me, I always wanted money. I always wanted nice things, and it's a Little Flip pussy. I'm the Leprechaun, you know.
That's facts.
It's so like me.
That's cool. That's cool tattoo. I like it.
And I'm gonna finish it up. I'm gonna do the whole.
I like that shit.
Like that.
Hey, but hey, that plays into the whole thing, because like we were saying earlier, money kind of always came to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you knew where the gold was. So you had your own pot of gold that you were working towards, or you had in the stash already, as it is.
Right.
That's always been the game with you, because you never weren't after the pursuit of that. Like, you were always on the pursuit of either financial gain or stability of some sort, so you could pursue your dreams,
right.
or whatever you wanted to do next. And a lot of people don't understand that. That's what it sounds like when you're really doing it the right way. When you're doing it the right way, you have a foundation, so that if you fall back, you're still on level ground.
Yeah.
You know, nothing can knock you out of your fucking pivot, because you're handling things in past tense, present, future. In every fucking tense, you're handling things.
Yeah.
Because you got money for 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, 9 months down the road. You got money.
Yeah.
If you got 10 grand in the fucking bank account, nobody can tell you nothing.
Right.
You're really out here fucking throwing it around. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Because you could pay your rent for so many months in advance and still be like, what's good, you know, what's popping.
Right.
And that's what a lot of these people don't understand. That's what freedom is. What freedom is having the cushion and the ability to make some moves out here. It's not just about having bills paid. It's not that. Because if you were to pay your bills and watch Netflix, if you were to pay your bills and watch Netflix and fucking just eat Olive Garden, like, you're wasting your life. If you have time,
your money, Olive Garden is expensive.
If you have time to actually make more moves, and you can get some merch off, you might be able to do this, that, and the third off, right?
Yeah.
And have more time to do more things, and then make more money in the long run that'll benefit you in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So many different things that are going on. But I think a lot of people cut themselves short, and they think like, oh, I got a lot of extra time, maybe I'll just go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Like,
I couldn't do that. Like, you know, like, I can't. I worked at this company, and in the middle, I was building on my app, because I had this app, and it was called Screw Up Radio, because I was doing that. And I started doing that before promoting. So I had this app, and so I had this company, and they would send me out to freaking Lakewood to do these job trainings, right? Lakewood is like 15 minutes away from Tacoma. And then my hotel was right next to the Tacoma Dome. And they sent us to the same hotel every time. And so, but it was right off the highway, so I was just at a hot spot, you know? And then the road that goes in front of the Tacoma Dome is, if you just drive it, it'll cut through all of downtown Tacoma. Then you see some of the cool shops, you know, the mom and pop shops, you know.
Pull up.
Yeah, like that. I met Mac Hussein there, you know.
Dead
like,
ass?
Yeah, I knew who Mac Hussein is. Like, I met him when he had a vape shop. I didn't even know what the fuck vape was, bro.
Word.
Yeah, I was just walking in there, and I make my own little flyers, and I'd be like, hey, download my app. I probably have, I'll pull it up, but it's like 30 or 50,000 downloads that I have on that app. You know, just doing it like that. No social media, bro. No social media.
That ass?
Just pushing it on that, like, because Facebook wasn't hitting at that time. You know? I already had an app before Facebook was really pushing their shit.
Real?
Yeah. Like a mock tab. You know? And so, like, I have pictures and shit of it. And, like, I have it saved on my other phone. It's still functional, but it was just a big file, and it'll save on the phone. And then the file had all the songs in it. But, yeah. I would go out and hand out these flyers. And I met hella people doing it that way. But the reason why I did it goes back to, like, why I couldn't just go hang out at the Bahamas. If I go out to the Bahamas, I'm gonna go try to throw a show, and I'm gonna try to bring the artist with me. You know, like I can't just go somewhere and not do something like I can make some money.
Facts.
You know, I can't. Just like when they would send me out to Tacoma for a week, I can't just sit in a fucking hotel room, drink fucking beer with my fucking co-workers. I don't give a fuck. They came from all over the country because they did Hawaii, LA, fucking Montana, like these New Mexico, like, and the cool people, you know.
Facts.
And it was like a college party, bro. Like it was like dorm partying. Well, in some of the rooms. But my room, like, I didn't let nobody in it, you know, like, I wanted my time away. I had my laptop,
Yep.
you know, I was trying to make flyers. I was trying to fucking do shit,
You
know?
were grinding.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, I always bring my laptop with me.
You be trapping even on rest time. You be trapping.
Yeah. So I didn't want nobody to bother me, you know? And so, like, my roommate be like, hey, you know, I would advise people, I'd be like, bro, go hang out in their room, bro. Why they have to come in here? And so nobody would come in my shit, you know? And so why? Because I have my laptop there, I have valuable shit, and I don't want to worry about putting it away or someone spilling beer on it or whatever, you know? So that was the rule. And so, yeah, and it worked for me. So I would be doing that shit. And then I would go out and grind and push my fucking, my app. And I just can't do it, you know? If I go on a family trip, and I know somebody out there, and if I don't know somebody, I'm gonna know somebody because I'll find and what I mean by that, like now as I have my music coming, my projects coming together, like if I'm in a whole different city and a whole different videographer, and they have their own style of shit, well, guess what? I'm gonna hit them up and I'm gonna do a video there because I'm already fucking there, you know, like. I'll shave some hours off of the time I'm gonna sleep in my hotel room. You know, like, you know, like I could do that because at the end of the day, it just don't make sense for me to go somewhere and not try to make some money.
Right.
You know, I don't.
No, I feel you 100%.
Yeah, so like, what would be the other thing that I would do? I don't know. What do you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself like just going vacationing, or are you trying to pull a little grind, pull a little extra hustle?
Well, I don't even know what a vacation would look like for me, man. To be honest, because like for me, everything's got to have a little bit of work in it. Like even when I take time off, it's not even time off because like I have so many things that I'm like invested into. Like, I got podcasting, I got writing music. Like, I write a lot of music, like, still.
Yeah,
you know, like,
I've been seeing that.
Not even like I used to, like, back in the day. I used to write a lot of fucking music back in the day. Like, when I was in high school, man, that kid was a beast. Like, literally, I was supposed to be taking notes for some shit that I was supposed to be learning, but instead of learning, what I was doing was writing lyrics. And then when the teacher walked by, I flipped the page to make it look like I was jotting shit down. But in reality, I was just, like, writing bars down, like, that I had, like, playing in my fucking Discman. I had the fucking joint popping off, too. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting there writing the lyrics. And that was back in an era where battle rappers were considered, like the thing, man. So,
yeah, like they're like the Kung Fu master.
Yeah, because even when you went to parties, you'd battle rap.
Yeah, and that was, like, what I would do. Like, that's how I got into it. Because out here, these fools be rapping. They'd be rapping, oh, yeah, you know, I'm flipping sacks and doing all this other shit. But in reality, they weren't. They were fronting sacks. Or they're buying a dub. Or, like, they're doing a bunch of shit but never had shit. You know, like, just, like, they were lying. But no offense to them. Like, they had a job and they just didn't. They didn't do what they were saying. Battle rap.
Okay, so battle rap, man. Like, I've been involved in a lot of battle rap in my career. It's dating back to when MySpace was a thing. I used to upload diss tracks to local rappers. And I feel really bad for those rappers back in the day because those songs were horrible, but...
Horrible, or they can't defend themselves?
It was horrible, but they were still better than what they did.
Oh, okay.
I was always making the record that was better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So your worst was better than their best.
Yeah. I mean, I was always the better rapper. That was never a question.
Yeah, but to you, your worst is better than their best.
That's how it looks in the long scheme.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Just not at the time. At the time, you're just doing a better record.
Yes. So rap beef, man. What is it about rap beef that I know that it appeals to you, doesn't it? Like if somebody sends a shot at you, what does that mean to you?
Honestly, like it appeals to me when I see other people do it. Like me, it would have to depend who they are. Like it would have to depend who they are and what they said. You know, if they said some shit that was true, like in events, but not true how it happened, then I'll have a problem with it.
Okay.
But like if this is some dumbass shit and they're just writing and saying dumbass shit and goofy ass shit, then you know, like I just probably won't take it serious because at the end of the day, I ain't promoting nobody.
Just goofy shit.
Yeah, like just goofy shit. Like if it was on plain terms, like hey, you know, you punch my arm, I'll punch your arm. Okay, I'll punch your arm back. Okay, you know, but like if it's like on some serious shit, I'm not gonna say nothing, bro. Like I won't respond. I won't make a comment on Facebook, Instagram, fucking Twitter, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
What if somebody comes at you that way though?
Like honestly, someone comes at me like on a diss track. Is that what you mean?
No, on social media.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have people that come at me so like that on social media,
tagging you and all sorts of shit.
Not tagging me, not harassing me, but like try to say some dumb shit on one of my posts, like try to threaten me.
I had to microwave a motherfucker one time.
Well, they put it this way, like the only people that have done that to me, they try to like call me out on the internet. I really did not respond. And I didn't respond because I'm a real ass dude. Like, I come from an era where statements fucking can be used against you.
Boom.
You know? So I come from an era, you don't write statements on yourself or on other people.
Facts.
And then, and if you do something dirty and you get caught, well, that's your problem. And you suck it up and you deal with it.
Dead ass.
You know? So for those reasons, you know, like, I wouldn't respond on social media. I was just like, okay. All right, keep running your mouth. And then what really happens, like I think like this because our homies, the Wickeds, you know, shouts out to the Wickeds, because I was raised pretty much by them when it comes down to street mentality and hustle, because that's where I sold up with, you know. And so like shout out to the Wickeds for that and being part of my life, you know. So I had that mentality. Why? You don't write statements on nobody. We know we have a process in order of how we deal with situations. Like something major, like we're Bruce Lee about that bitch.
Now's the time to visit.
Like with something major, we're Bruce Lee about that bitch. And what I mean by Bruce Lee is like, what does Bruce Lee teach you? He teaches you not to be aggressive. He teaches you not to go look for problems, but he teaches you to beat the motherfucking shit out of the person that looks for you. And so the person that look for us, or in my situation, because I really don't present myself as a person that brings those vibes to have somebody hit me up, or to have somebody fucking come at me sideways. Because I don't rip people off. I don't snake nobody. You know, there's been disagreements and you know and barter issues. You know, but that's normal business shit. But as an individual, as a human being, I ain't never fucking stole shit from nobody. Everything I owe, I pay it, or I made an effort and got my ways and got it done. You know, so like, but I stay in contact. You know, like all the money, stay in contact. Like that's how I always operated. Why? Because like I'm gonna pay you, or I'm gonna do it. Like I don't leave no bad terms with nobody. So like I don't do shit for nobody to try to do that to me. And so then I don't disrespect people. I don't look at people sideways. So then when people do some foul ass shit to me, whoa, the whole neighborhood's about respect. You know, my neighborhood that from Wall is the most feared neighborhood of everybody. Known for putting in work. I know people in Tri-Cities that say that if they ever needed some real shit done, they would call my homies in Wall. So, like, what does that tell you? Wall is like, what, 55,000 people, maybe less. And Tri-Cities, we're pushing 300,000. So like how? So you're gonna go to itty bitty Walla Walla because why? Because you know that's where the riders are at. You know, and people know it. People don't fuck with us. People like when I tell them like, hey, you know, people don't fuck with me. Why? Because I'm respectful. I don't bang on nobody. I'm not a gang member to be banging on people. But that's just you know, I'm a conocido. Like that's who they know me as. You know, like in Walla Walla, they got me listed as a gang member, and I run Wickets. You know, but it's kind of what it is. You know, I'm known for that association. You know, so like I had to go by certain rules and guidelines. And so, but I don't bang on people. And you know, and I don't let nobody disrespect nobody in my shit either. You know, they don't disrespect my brothers either. You know, they respect us. They know Wicked. People hear Wickeds in Northwest, they don't say nothing. Why? Because they're respected. Why? Because like say for example, if there was a member that fucked up, like just on basic, he get slapped depending on how minor it is, or he get punched. If it's real major, he get jumped. And everybody's like, go back to their love, you know? And it stays the same. But you do some foul ass shit, like you snitch, you're a rapist, Wickets clean up the laundry. So they don't stick around. You get done, then you get jumped out, get stabbed, you die. Like a couple of homies died, like some of the OGs. One of the dead ass. The OG Dopey, he got out. Because like what happened was I don't know exactly what happened, but you look it up, his name's Mikey Mercado, and they killed him out here by like I think 68. I don't know who did it. You know, I don't know who did it, right? I don't know who did it. But so the guy got killed out here by like 68 or over 100, right? And
rest in peace, dog.
Rest in peace, Mikey. You know, like. But I don't know what he did. But I know he was like associated and kind of, because like I was a little kid at the time, so I kind of only know what I heard.
Word.
So I really don't know what he did, okay? But what I do know is that guy got killed. There was people involved in the army. Dopey somehow ended up, either they gave it to him or like he had the murder weapon. And so he hid it or some shit like that, and he wouldn't say who it was. So homie Dopey went down for 18 years. You know, and all of in Walla Walla they popped all my homies with 18 years, all of them, and all of them. Capone, Spunky, fucking Crazy, fucking all of them. Him, Tweety, they gave him life, but he just got out like fucking.
Real shit?
Yeah, he just got out like 3 months ago because one of the felonies that they used, violent felonies that they used as a strike, happened as a juvenile, and so like they striked him out to give him life. Which I don't think is a law anymore, but they strike him out and gave him life. And then they, they undid, after like 10, 12 years of appeals court, they undid his fucking sentence. They resentenced him because they couldn't have used his violent crime as his B or C, a violent crime, felony, as a strike. Because it was a minor when it happened. So then that reduced him and kicked him out of the life sentence. And so he got out like literally like 4 months ago. And so, but yeah, they broke all the homies off. All of them for 18 years. So the homie Dopey got 18 years. And so how I met him is when he got out. I never knew him. And then he lived right next door to my cousins. And so my cousins knew all of them. But yeah, and I knew his brother. And his brother was in 18th Street, you know, Wicked and shit. But yeah, so like that fool got killed out there. He wouldn't tell who the murder weapon belonged to or anything, so he got 18 years. And so, but the homie Capone, he did his cousin in because he talked to the cops, you know, and stabbed him up. You know, he didn't try to kill him, but he hurt him. And so that guy, he fucking, you know, he got 18 years. So, like, he's almost out. 18 months. 18 months he got left.
Damn.
Yeah, 18 months he got left, and he gonna be out. You know, and I'm like... And he's doing music. He has, like, 2,000 fucking folders or 2,000 pages worth of fucking songs. He was big to Jay-Z, all the shit that I told you about. So like he's real lyrical and he's smart, super smart. Like me and him, like I put him on selling dope. But later in life, he put me on selling dope. Like he was selling coke and stuff. But I put him on. I remember I pulled up on him. I was working at this pizza place when I was 16. Remember, I'm always trying to make money, right? So the guy we would smoke weed with, like he would, sometimes we would buy weed from him because like at that time I kind of like was in and out of contact with the other guy that I started with, and so he had weed right there. So we would buy it from him. He would smoke us out, drive us in his car and shit because we only had bikes at the time. And so when we were doing that, yeah. That's what he sold me some shit called rosin, which just concentrated weed, right? And so he sold me that shit, and then I got that, and then the next time he sold me something that looked the same, but what did he call it? What was it? Red something, but ultimately it was opium. Ultimately it was raw opium, And so then, I go and hit up the homie Capone, and I was like, hey, because I was already talking to him on some other things. I don't remember, but he was my neighbor. We grew up together, And so he lived with his grandma and grandpa, and so it was kind of kitty corner from where, kitty backyards from where we lived. And so, I remember going up and I was like, hey, anybody want to buy some opium? and he bought some, and he started selling dope. And then we're like, we don't know what it is, but fuck it, all right. He bought it, and he started selling. And then, and then later in life, he ended up fucking putting me on back into selling heavy stuff.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But, yeah, we were just all over the place on my topics. We need to go back to battle rapping. We need to go back to battle rapping.
How do you feel about battle rapping? As far as just,
But the dissing, we got into the killing the laundry. So we just really broke down why I'm gonna answer you how I'm gonna answer you. So people hit me up on the internet because here I just told you the whole damn story of who I grew up with in fucking 2 minutes.
Right.
So anyways, because of that, I don't talk. When I see your motherfucking ass is another story.
Ooh.
That's when shit gets real with me because I won't tell you nothing on the phone. I won't text you nothing. I'm not gonna post nothing, and I'm not gonna respond to your comments. I might talk shit back to you, call you a dumbass, maybe clown on your looks, depending on what you say to me, and depending on how childish I want to be about it and how far I want to drag it out. Because you know what, when I'm a passionate ass person, and then I'm creative in my mind. So
you make memes?
Yeah, I make some. I make some memes.
Sometimes you make a meme and clown a motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did make a meme. I actually made a whole meme, and it was like a comic book front page meme. It's heavy duty. I think I recently downloaded it on my phone, so I might be able to show you.
You dropped the gem on their ass.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what right. About. When you make a meme, it's gotta hit hard.
It gotta hit hard because they pissed them off so fucking bad that they started fucking getting my number from each other and started calling me.
They got all wet?
Yeah, they got all wet. And then when they called me, they were like, hey, what about, what's up with this fucking post? You're over here talking shit, calling me as though, you know what? You need to cool your motherfucking horse just trying to talk to me like that. Because, you ain't, first of all, you didn't call the cops on me, got my show shut down. I just went to town on him, all factual shit. And I might not exactly know because I didn't see his fucking phone that he pushed the buttons. But they all had something to do with it because the name came up on it by the people that they were associated with, And so they knew that they had something to do with it. And so, or else I wouldn't have stung so bad. And then, I'm a fool. I do marketing and shit, and I build my own business doing marketing because I'm always about hustling. I work full-time job. I have a marketing business for, the last 7 years. So I know my shit. And at that time, it's real basic and real easy. It's not hard. It's not knucklehead shit. But I dropped $100 fucking on 3 fucking days. Do the math. If you know anything about, if you ever promoted an ad, that's about 30,000 fucking people every fucking day because of how big the dollar quantity is that's going to hit people's feeds. So about 30,000 people had seen it for 2 days. And then they called me that morning and told me, and so I just told him, you better watch yourself. You don't know who the fuck you're talking to. And then so he continued on. And then he says, well, if you really have a problem with it, we can meet up. And I was like, all right, where do you want to meet up at? And so then he says, man, you don't want none of this. I was like, you want to meet up? Let's meet up, dog. I was like, you want to talk go this fucking tough guy shit? I was like, where do you want to meet up at? I was like, I'll meet you if you want to bring your homies. I was like, I'll bring my homies. We get on some gang shit. I was like, dead ass. I told him, and you know, like, mind you, nobody really knows me. Nobody knows me. I don't go talk about myself. Do I look like a gang member? Fuck no, I don't look like a gang member. I look like a fucking regular guy who goes to work.
So you blend in.
Yeah, I blend in. You know, like, and that's why a lot of gangsters fuck with me. Because, if we do stuff, I throw a fucking collar shirt on, some slacks, and fucking I'm Mr. Businessman. And I pull the look off. Why? I'm not all, my face ain't tatted up and all that shit.
You hit the switch.
Yeah. And so, like, a lot of gang members, like, a lot of people that do dirty shit would bring me into their stuff because, like, I had the, hey, nothing's going on over here kind of look.
Dead ass.
And so, like, people wouldn't fuck with us. So, like, video shoots, nobody would fuck with us. I'd be like, hey, I got a permit and fucking, you know, and nobody would fuck with me, you know?
Dead ass. You knew the right things to say.
Yeah, you know, so, like, yeah, I just kept it that way. So you don't see me as that kind of person, but yeah, I told him, I was like, hey, you want to get on some gang shit? We'll get on some gang shit, dog. I'll call my fucking homies up and let's see how fucking tough you and your fucking boys are. Right?
Real shit.
And so, like, then he tells me, hey, well, I really just want you to take that meme off of Facebook that you made. And so I was like, look, man, I was like, your bitch was on my shit making all kinds of comments. I was like, your nigga shit was on my shit making a bunch of comments. I was like, and then his fucking fat bitch was on my making comments. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I didn't say nothing to you guys. You guys jumped on my shit. I said nothing to you guys. I didn't do anything. But you know what? I had a gut feeling you guys were gonna do some dumbass shit. So I made this meme the day before, bro. The day before, like when I knew all this shit was going down, I just had this feeling. And I was like, you know what? I need to be ready for something.
So you dropped the meme.
So I dropped the meme. That was the first meme I ever made.
And it hit.
It hit. And it hit hard. Fucking calling the other guy sock monk and all kinds of shit, you know. And then, like, the other bitch, remember I said she's a fat bitch, and then she's a fat white bitch. And so then, do you remember this show called Duckman?
Yeah.
And you know, Duckman was a little ass duck, and then he had this bitch that was like hella big, muscular, and she was like combative, and she had these thunder thighs. Yeah. So I took that fucking body skeleton and put fucking braids on it.
Damn. You went all the way in.
Yeah, because she was a white bitch wearing fucking braids looking stupid.
Oof.
Like, I think that shit's stupid looking. Like, if you're fucking, like, I don't care if you call me a racist, but if you're fucking white, don't wear the fucking braids. That shit looks stupid. I can see some of the, like, white boys doing it. Yeah. You know, or doing the dreads. That's kind of cool. But if you're doing the fucking cornrows and shit, that's just fucking gay. Like, that's not you. Like, you know, like, I don't like that shit. It looks stupid. Like, to me, like, it catches my eye, like seeing somebody naked is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you naked? But like, why is your hair like that?
Okay, before I forget, I want to talk about this new music that you got going on.
Yeah, well, I got a handful of new songs going on. Most of them are almost done. I have a long process of how I do things because I'm a real fucking asshole about the quality. How it sounds, the mixing, if there's any hit scene, or anything. And then I have a sharp ear because I grew up around quality. Like, I had badass fucking house stereo stuff. Like, I had all that money, so I had a Clips home theater system in my bedroom. It was like $2,000 back then. You know, it then had a Yamaha natural sound receiver, which was like $500 or $800 back then.
Dead ass.
Yeah, I'd fucking listen to badass music. But so yeah, so all I had is this ear for high quality music, and I listen to professionally mixed music, you know. So all of my shit to sound the same. So now that my new music,
hey Aaron, is that electronic music?
That's my old.
now that I got my new music coming out, now it's actually mixed down. Like Now I found the person to make it sound like the radio. Then I found the person to make it to mix it for me to make it sound dope. And then me, I learned how to sound dope. You know, so like I learned how to sound dope before I did all that shit, because I knew like I had to do it right by myself.
You knew how to cook.
Yeah. Well, fuck. I done doing fucking, you know, like trying to maximize and get the best out of everything. You know, like if I got some fucking good ass coke, you know, I'm gonna ask for more money.
Man, if you want to go ahead and roll up.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Nah, but for real, man, I think it's impressive how, you know what, one of the most impressive things about you, to me personally, is your ability to be this hustler / rapper, like Master P, like Baby from Cash Money, like one of those kind of figures. Has it always been in your mind like you got to do both? You got to be the artist, you got to be the businessman.
No, it wasn't. That's at the beginning. The beginning, I just wanted to make the money. I just wanted to be the businessman. I wanted other people to do that. Like, cause I've always been the type of person to be like, hey, you know, we need to have, you know, people fill up the slots. We need to have people, you know, perform, and good performers. Like I never wanted to have a bullshit performance. So I started off doing shows, trying to help people, you know. And then and I used to freestyle. So then I was just like, oh, you know, like I would write songs,
right?
And then I would pay for the beat. And then I would pay for an artist to write the song. The first song I ever did that with was with Gr8ne from Dope House Records.
Okay.
And so and it's a badass song. I've never fucking released it, and I have a video to it.
Damn, real shit.
A
video
and a music video.
When are you planning on dropping that?
Honestly, I don't know. I'll probably drop it at the end of the year after I blow my own name up. I'll probably drop it.
You're gonna drop it this year?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I'll like the way I'm projecting, I have so much creativity into my songs and so much time into putting them together.
I'm gonna hold that to you, man. If you don't drop it by the end of the year, I'm gonna call you out, man.
All right, and I'll come to your podcast and let you call me out.
For real though, because honestly, people gotta see from the Tri-Cities. It means such a big thing for artists to be making records and making videos, and it means it's so important to our economy as far as being an artist goes. So whenever anybody contributes, it's a major thing.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna bring some real shit, you know,
not even that. You take video, you think of everybody. You think everybody that gets a video for $300, $500, whatever. You know, and I'm not knocking nobody's videos because a lot of them are pretty dope. You know, a lot of them are pretty good. You know, a lot of people have learned how to craft their shit. But my shit was shot with the same that it's been on. I have 3 of them. So there's been on. There's what's it called? There's been on. No Love Lost. And the other one, it's, the heck is it called? It was Marty's on it. He sings the hook. It has Marty, Rashid, and then even Long Gotti's on that song.
Damn.
Yeah, and I've never dropped any of it. And there's a video shot. So anyways,
Long Gotti's top 5 Tri-Cities.
Definitely. He's real good. I remember watching him the first time, because I put him, we worked together, you know, and we did a show together. And he was on my set. And so, I remember when I first heard him, because I never really listened to him, you know, I knew him. But I heard him, and he sounded dope, in person on the mic. I was like, damn, this, and he performs right.
Thanks.
Yeah, you know, so I was like, God damn. And so, all these people are on that, are on those videos, and all those videos were shot with a red camera. The same red camera that was shot to shoot the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, I had those video shoots have a stylist, the director, a cameraman that operated the remote, and the drone operator. that also did like the close up shots like with like this little eyeball thing.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was like 7 people that would pull up to shoot these videos. Yeah, it did like professional level, you know, and like they're super quality, you know. And the one with the bin on, it's so I wrote the bin on hook. I wrote the hook, and it has a Rashi on it. And Rashi, I paid Rashi to like this is how I really got tapped into the music making business. It's like I tapped in with Rashi, and Rashi just showed me nothing but love. He put me on with Lucky, he put me on with hella people. So like he got me into my loop, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he sent me back. He sent it back to me, and it's hella dope. And you know, like it was crazy because I would hear this beat, and the song's called "Been On." So the "Been On" like. It's all my music is kind of reflection of like some of the shit that we've covered, you know, like the minor coverage of the drug dealing stuff and all that shit, you know. So it's called "Been On." So it's been on the block more, we've been on the grind more, 24/7 grinding, 24/7 grinding. We punching the clocks more. Why? Because I always had a job. We've been on the block more, selling dope. Like, I always did both. So, that whole hook is just about shit that I really was doing. And so, like, it talks about just everything. Like, dealing with shiesty people, prioritizing making money. It's just, like, get paid. And it's all my music is about, like, do something. Like,
Motivation.
Yeah, it's all motivation. Like I don't talk. Like I have a song that touches about life, but that song. I have a song that touches about life, but that song touches about life in a good way. The song's called "Everybody."
What's that song about?
The song "Everybody." So it talks about how everybody has really one thing in common. But with that one thing in common set aside, you have more things in common. So the one thing in common that everybody got to deal with that you want to set aside is that one day you're going to die. So like everybody going to die one day. So like that's kind of how the hook goes. It's like everybody going to die. Like it don't matter. Like unfortunately, all of us gotta go, and we all go back home. And so, the next part of it is like, you know, so live today. You know, everyone gonna die one day. Everybody gonna die someday. Everybody gonna die one day. So live today. So take what you got. Do something with your life. You know, like yeah. I would like to sit down watching TV. Why? Because I'd rather go do something. Like, why do I want to watch somebody else live their life when I could go live my life? Like, why can't I go to Bonefish? Why gotta watch somebody else go to Bonefish and have drinks?
Speak on it.
You know, like, why? Like, why do I gotta watch somebody else take a bitch out to on a date next to the fucking river and have a romantic dinner when I can take my girl out on a date and next to the river and have a romantic dinner? You know, like, why? I'd rather do it.
Might as well.
Yeah, so a song called, you know, pretty much about living one day. You know, and it touches, you know, one of my bars that I talked about, well, the opening one, it says, I'm JB the G8, I'm God's son. Because really, we're all God's son. Like, whatever you call God, you know, like, because I believe that there's like, I'm just, like, out there, bro. Like, and I don't think I'm out there, but I'm out there to other people. Because, like, I believe there's God. God created the universe. God created the universe that we manifest stuff in. God created our conscience. There is a God. How it came into being and all this other stuff is another story. But there is a God.
Facts.
Because if there wasn't, how can we... Who you praying to? Everybody prays, but who they pray to is whatever they call who they pray to is another story.
And why does that make sense to us? You know?
Exactly. Why are there temples across the whole there's a different temple on every continent, but they all have 3 windows. The Last Supper painting has the 3 windows in the background.
He speaks some real shit right now.
So the name of our project will be called JB the Great, the son of greatness.
It'll be hard.
Why? Because like I push the word great because it's in my name. But at the end of the day, God is the greatest. God created us with greatness. We can have whatever we want if we really want it.
That's facts.
If you can manifest stuff with what you what was it that you said earlier? Like you could think it or because reality. What was it? I forget what you said. It was something about like pretty much like whatever you put your mind to, you can make it happen. Like
I'm big on that. Yeah.
You know, and it's fucking true. And how does that exist? God, our universe. Like, you know, what if God's just a breakdown of what the Egyptians like? Me, I used to think the Egyptians and that whole pyramid stuff was scary, bro.
You know, I think some people are tapped in, and whether they use it for good or bad is on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like if you think about it, like the Jesus stuff, like I appreciate the story. I can see that it happened, but like you gotta understand, like you gotta understand the whole picture, bro. The whole picture, you know, like the Muslims, they believe Muhammad was a God that God spoke to make the Quran, right? Well, there's Jesus, right? And Jesus and then all the guys in the Bible and all the people, bless you, all the people in the Bible. Like Joseph, Cain, all these people, that they talk about, right? So, God talked to all these people through all our times. What the Muslims have a problem with is that it did not stop at Jesus. Muhammad knew too. So that's why Muhammad's their prophet. It's like people don't know this because they don't get the time to actually know Muslims. I do. I know people Muslims and a lot of them are close friends. And so so you have that perspective. And then you have the what is it, the Mormons, right? The Mormons believe in Joseph Smith being the Messiah, right? Being the guy that God talked to, told him how to write all this stuff in the book.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you know this, but you will.
You're putting me on right now.
All right.
Know it. Putting me on. I want to
Yeah. So the Mormons, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witnesses, but I'm pretty positive the Mormons, one of the two, right? Their whole Bible is based on this guy named Joseph Smith, and this guy Joseph Smith, like around the 1600s or like around the cowboy era time. Maybe a little later, somewhere around them, right? He wanted to know the meaning of God so bad. He wanted to know the meaning of life so bad that he prayed and it just came to him. And he wrote the Bible that the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm pretty sure the Mormons go by, okay? Yeah, like that's the story, okay? So now go back to the Muslims. Saying, all right, Muhammad's a Messiah. Jesus is not the last Messiah because Muhammad came after Jesus. And so like the Christians say that, hey, this is the last era that Jesus and God has ever spoken to us. The Muslims say that this is when like God spoke to Muhammad, and that there is no last Messiah. Like there's always, God's always telling somebody, right? Through every generation of life. If I'm not mistaken about the Muslim part, that one I might a little bit wishy-washy, but I know that they don't believe Jesus is the last Messiah. Right. And so, but the Jew or the Mormons believe that this guy named Joseph Smith that says in that Bible that black people are bad or evil or something like that, right? It pretty much makes black people less of a human.
Dead ass?
Yeah, in their Bible. It's in there. Like, if they don't talk about it, it's in there. Just like this thing. Yeah, it's in there. And so like, and so you have that, okay? The Quran does not say that about nobody. It only talks about disbelievers of God. The Quran does not talk about killing black people or colored no people. It just disbelievers of God and people that attack you and attack your faith and your God. Right? So that if you're attacking them, like, there's problems and they'll kill you. Like, that's what that, you know, but those are all testaments, you know, like, that's how you handle things in those eras. But you have this guy named Joseph Smith that's saying all this shit, saying certain colored people are bad, and that he spoke to God, and he wrote this whole Bible, so everybody follows the Joseph Smith shit. Mm-hmm. That's where the no caffeine comes from and all that weird shit. So then you have all that stuff. Well, what makes you think God ever stopped talking to anybody?
Right.
What makes you think God did not? How do you not know God is us? We have a conscience. We feel things. We can make things happen if we really put things to it. Really think about it enough. We can make ourselves healthy. You know, to a point.
Like regeneration.
Yeah, like you really think about it, and you do the right steps, and you consume the right items and the right fruits and vegetables, and drink enough water and get enough sleep. You can heal yourself of a lot of bullshit. So if God blesses us with all of this, like, how are we not part of God?
That's really me.
So we already kind of part of God. God's gonna send a leader to tell us shit when shit's not out of line. Muhammad was probably one of those people.
Right.
Jesus was probably one of those people. Or the guy that Jesus actually is, but not really Jesus. Because I don't think the portrayed Jesus is Jesus. So whoever that man is, that was probably a colored person, you know, that's who like, God's always sent somebody to straighten everybody out. You know,
Yeah,
like...
sure.
You know, and there's a bunch of people living those times. But then a lot of people uneducated and do shit with the time either. So, like, they were probably more connected to God because they didn't have the distractions, the chemicals, and all that stuff that pull us away from our vibrations and stuff like that.
That's real talk, too.
You know, so it's just like, it's just crazy. So that whole song is about living today. Because one day you gotta go back to being a vibration.
Facts. Okay, before I forget, man, let's talk about the new album, new music, new sounds. What can people come to expect from you in the coming months?
In the upcoming months, everything's gonna be crazy because, like, I have a few plans about how often I want to release music. I don't have that figured out yet, but I'm gonna really play that by promotion, by, like, my marketing plan, and then the feedback. I get a lot of good feedback as it is, but for sure, I'm going to be dropping this song called Snakes. And that was going to be my main push. It's real catchy, and two, everyone can relate to it. The main thing is about having people like talk shit when you're not around. They follow you on your social media platforms, but like really behind, like in people to people talk, they don't fuck with you. They just talk. You know, so it really touches on stuff really people can relate. I don't write nothing crazy that I ain't experienced. Like, everything's about an experience and more about relating to, like, I'm definitely something that you know you can learn from. Because, like, there's things that I talk about with my sons that I really went through. Like, there ain't one song that I have written that I ain't been through. Like, I went through all those experiences I write about. So, like, you know how you're saying that I'm descriptive. Well, I mean, like, it's not hard because, like, you really did those things, like, you know. Because, like, if you really just talk about how really it was, like, it should just pop right up, you know? It's just like, hey, you know, this is...
It's more of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Because cats ain't really like that in the game, you feel me? Yeah. Like, if the attention to detail will always put you further.
And see, you know what? I think I learned that from college. And then I put that into my music. Because, like, I remember I had this technical writing teacher. Well, you're saying this, but what? And what she mean by that, it'd be like, you know, like it would just be like a simple sentence, you know, like, oh well, I spend time, you know, investing money into bonds. Well, what kind of bonds? You know, like what? So she would always tell me what. And so then, so now when I write music, I freestyle, kind of like, I find the vibe, and the song tells me what to write. And so I find the vibe, and so the song Snakes is really called, the beat is really called Snakes. And or it's called Snake. So like, I was like, man, and then the beats is all playing, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I hear the snakes in it. And so then I hear snake suckers, snake bitches. And so then I was like, and just started going with it. And then I was all right, so what is a snake sucker? Oh, damn, how do I go? Snake sucker, snake bitch. These are your friends, and you can find them on your friends list. And so then I say, these are the same ones, or these are your friends and followers. They're the ones sneak dissing. And so like, this could be your friend, or this could be your family. There's just no exception. Watch out for the snakes before your ass is bitten. And so like, and I write that way because what's a snake sucker and what's a snake bitch? You know, a snake sucker is like someone gonna suck your fucking dick. He's gonna fucking ride you. He's gonna do whatever you want. He's gonna rub you. He's gonna rub your fucking back. He's just gonna suck your ass shit just so you can spend money with him or give him opportunities or whatever, you know. Or like that fool that's a mooch, you know, like he only comes around once to get high, you know, or like he wants to get high and then he bounces. Or the person that only calls you for a ride, you know, or the guy that only calls you because they need some money, you know. So like you got all those fucking people, or the guy always calls you from front. So you got all these fucking same fucking people, you know, and so those are snake suckers because like really most of them not gonna pay you back and they're not gonna treat you the same. And so then what's a snake bitch? Well, the snake bitch is the one doing bitch shit, talking shit. You know, oh well, you know, they're being cool to your face, but they do bitch ass shit and go talk shit amongst them and their little bitches, you know. And I ain't saying bitches like females, and no, I'm saying bitches because motherfuckers are bitches too, and most motherfuckers are bitches, you know. So it's like, and they talk and act like one, you know, like they'll be like, oh hey, what's up, you know, and then behind your back they want to talk shit, you know, like I find out, but you know that's why I don't talk to them no more, because like at this point in my life, if they ain't making me feel threatened, I'm not gonna do nothing. But fucking make me feel threatened and see what's not gonna happen. You know, I'm not gonna keep doing the same thing. I'm gonna just, you know, pretty soon I'm just be like, hey, what's that you were talking about, buddy? Let's clear this up real quick. You know, I had to tell one person one time, it probably the last time since those other guys. Oh shit. But we're working on one of the projects. But yeah, I had to tell them to cool down. Fuck, I'm walking away from my album, my bad.
Alright, man, any final thoughts that you might have that you want to share?
Any final thoughts? Well, shit, definitely interested to see how all of this pans out. You know, this whole project thing. I'm about to drop it with Stewie Bro and Empire. Drop the video. I'm gonna reshoot the video, some scenes to it on Saturday. So that's gonna be coming up. So I'm dropping the video first. So the first thing I would say is, you know, be on the lookout for the video, because that shit's gonna be hard as fuck. The song's hard. But yeah, that next song's gonna be the one. I'm excited for that. A lot of people ask for it. And it's uppity.
It's gonna be the first look.
Yeah. Well, that one, because it's just cool, it's catchy, uppity. And then, like, I get a lot of good reviews. But I get good reviews on all my songs. But the other one I have a video shot too is, like, my clothing brand. And that's the one I'm going to be dropping afterwards.
Are you gonna do a whole video, though, for the snakes?
Yeah. Yeah, I will shoot a whole video. It'll be done. Like, this time I'm hiring somebody. I tried to teach people last time and it didn't work out.
Didn't work out?
No. Because I can edit, but fuck, I can't teach people to shoot like me. Because I can shoot videos too. Damn, what time is it? Are you cool? Are you sleepy? You're passing out.
Nah.
That has been a while.
But yeah, where can people find you online?
You can find me right now just on my Instagram because that's what I'm pushing. I'm not going to push anything else until after that. But the Instagram, at the real great JB, it's spelled Gr8.
All right, man. That's gonna be it for us at Tri-Town Tory. Coming to you live from the Northwest. Tory Talk Podcast. Signing out one.